there's really no way to shoot an arrow at a cosmic principle. But on the other hand, and battle magic spells are kind of like weapons, right? They are just things that you have in your hands and in your mind, and you power them from your body. So they are not really very effective or important in this circumstance. It might be kind of interesting if we even had you realize that all of your weapons, all of your armor, all of the things, your battle magic spells, just are left behind at this time. They are just past. They flow off of you and away from you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Well, you have
I
a
can use
toy,
the
of course.
skull.
Yeah, that's right. Why are you complaining? You have a toy.
No, I'm
So,
fine.
no.
I do remember the mythos of my cult. I do remember somewhere here my goddess is. The woodswoman, somewhere here she is.
Absolutely correct. That's one thing that you know, is that you have really a much of nature and its ability, on the ability of beings to coexist in it, to be part of it. You actually have that. And if there is anything that manifests time more than that, it's hard, or that coexists with time better than that, I don't know what it is. Right? So therefore, you have, in many ways, you have the world, with you. So the question is, if you look at your sheets and you look at your characters, and I have some very basic mechanics here to use. I just need really for you all to tell me and to realize that the game system does not really conceive of this kind of activity. This old game of RuneQuest does not have any mechanics for crazy shit like this. So therefore, you're not going to find a special rules set for it. But we do have a number of very useful rules in it that we can adapt. So please feel free to look at your character's skills and your character's attributes, your characteristics, and think about how what could you do that the irresponsible drug using comic book artist would draw. And of course, go ahead, Sandra. I didn't realize you would be ready quite so fast.
Urko is of course going to use the skull and make it accept it to himself.
Yes.
Take in the knowledge
Uh-huh.
and see what he's able to do. It's a dire situation, so something needs to be done.
Your cult lore skill roll has already done its job. So I think it should not be very hard at all for you to soak up the secrets of this wand and to use them. And the question is, what for and in what way? I'm interested too in Zort. What is your choice? What are you going to do?
From his comprehension, he's going to try and step in between these two, obviously not with each other friendly people, separate them, and tell them that they're gonna stay where they are, separated, until they no longer wish to undo the other.
Okay, so I think that this is going to be kind of an interesting effect. What Zort is doing is going to change the situation a little bit for Skava and for Urko, but I don't want to let that pass without rolls to
All right.
everybody to change the situation. Now, for Zort, this is going to be power and charisma would be very important for this, but in some ways, I feel as though Zort would put everything he has into this in some way. And
Yep.
so the question is, what characteristic are you going to pull from? I mean, are you going to use your strength in a
Yeah,
dramatic
I was
way?
thinking. I was thinking something of a combination of strength and charisma.
Yeah.
Just keep them where they are until they have changed their
Okay.
outlook.
So in RuneQuest, sometimes you can take some of the rules allow for some mathematics to combine the characteristics. You use that for the initiation rule, for example. And so here's the way that will work. We will take your strength is 17, I think,
Yes, it is.
and your current charisma is up to 11.
14.
14.
14.
Yes, that makes more sense. So 17 and 14 give us 31, and so that will give us, of course, 15 and 1/2. 15 and 1/2. So that puts us at about 77% for this roll 4 times 5. Seems like a very high roll, but that is okay. That's if effectively you are now to role play this, you actually have to be using your strength. So what are you doing with it?
I am, or at least holding them one hand shoulder for one person, one hand shoulder the other person, and just holding firm, just keeping them there, arms wide separate.
Okay. So this is perfect because, of course, that means that you have separated the death away from and you have separated the fate away from Zhong, and the chaos that is filling both of them connects through you like an electric current. Right? So
Yep.
that's exactly what is happening. You both can see that Zort is exploding into a set of ever-expanding psychedelic shapes without ever quite losing your awareness that you are looking at Zort. That's not lost, right? So that's what Urko and Skava see. As you see that, you can also see falling away from him the crumpled and helpless forms of and Zhong just fall away from
him. Is Jalla on her way?
No, she is speaking to you through the skull. You are actually have a scary feeling that in order to be giving you this skull, she might have done something deathly. I hope not.
Yeah, because I was thinking if she had the power to, send a skull to me, maybe she could, I have a gnome and a guardian. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can bring in all the rune magic you want to. Jala is effectively available to you in terms of rune magic right now. In many ways, the cult of the buried dead has absorbed so much of the secrets of Zhong's cult that in many ways it has eaten it. Jala is the priestess of something new now. So,
can I
yes.
try to use what is left of my power and my charisma to reach through to Sword and kind of anchor him in nature, if that makes sense?
It makes an excellent amount of sense, very much in the same way. Let's take a look at, instead of power. In many ways, we are almost at a point where, unusually for RuneQuest, where power is not very important. It's this is not you are at a primal place of creation and of ending, that's in which power is no longer really relevant. You may even have this sneaky suspicion that you are made of power right now, and so the idea that your other attributes, the things that make power, you see, in RuneQuest, has no identity. That is one interesting thing about power as an attribute. It has no name. It's the same. It's the same power in a spirit, same power for casting a spell, same power in your body. It's blank. It's your
dexterity.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's your other characteristics that provide you with identity. And so it's actually pretty cool. It's a nice way to look at this game, that it actually has this fascinating distinction between these things. So you have your dexterity, and you also, I'm going to say, have your charisma, which in this case is not really your charisma so much in terms of influencing people. It is your presence to others. And so with both of those are some pretty high values, I think, right? 15 or something for dexterity?
33, 14 for dexterity, 19 for charisma.
Excellent. Okay, so that puts us, oh, goodness. So right, if we have 22 and a half, so that's going to put you at 85 or so for your roll.
Sounds good.
Well, we will see.
And Urko will have tried to explain what he knew.
Mm-hmm.
The others know.
Skava, Helma, are you rolling dice?
Mm-hmm. Should I?
Yes, please.
I wasn't sure who should roll first.
I see, okay.
Wow. You're not going to like this. 98.
Oh goodness. Okay. I'll hold off on this. So let's take a look at Urko. What are you doing?
Oh. I don't know, what am I doing? What can I do with the skull? I mean, but since I...
Right. Well, the nice thing about it is that in many ways it makes you the master of death in all of its forms right now.
Okay.
Right. You guys are now in the position of unnamed gods.